Yeah, hi guys. My name is Novioku Babatunde Adiola Kende, and I'm a reporter for MyNigeria.com. And on the line with me is Olaleye Idowu, who is a sports journalist. What we're going to do today is basically to round up all the biggest sporting stories across the year. COVID-19 or the coronavirus actually came into the scene and disrupted the whole sporting schedule and calendar. But irrespective, there were still some big news, some good, some bad that happened in 2020. And my colleague Olaleye is here to dissect these issues for me. And Leye, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm about to great to be on this platform with you to discuss sports in Nigeria in 2020. Yes, we still have less than 3 days to go, Central House to the end of the year, and a lot has happened in Nigerian sports and of course in the world at large. So much was on pause, but then again, we are live, and of course, we are here to dissect every of it that happened over the course of 2020. Yeah, a lot of us can't actually forget it.
Yeah, I won't even jump into what the year has been for you and myself. I'll just go straight to the stories we'll be discussing. So I'll highlight them, then we'll break them down in bits and pieces. So per the list I sent to you, or per what I gathered and per what we agreed on, we decided that we will highlight on a number of topics: one, two, three, four, five, six topics actually, and they'll comprise of other sporting disciplines. There's football, of course, and boxing and other disciplines. And Oshiemi's move to Napoli has to be, one of the biggest stories in Nigeria. Then we'll also talk about Anthony Joshua. We'll also talk about Mokachi's appointment by Buhari as the special secretary for sports. Then we'll also speak about Gennaro Roa, Super Eagles coach, and what he's doing with the Eagles. Some might say he has been disappointing. Some might also say he has done well. Well, based on our knowledge as journalists, we dissect Gennaro Roa's influence on the Eagles. Then also we'll discuss some sad story. The female administrator who died, Henrietta. We'll talk about her a little bit. And basically that's it. So, where would you want to start with? Do you want to start with boxing, or you want to start with the big money move, Osimhen's move to Napoli?
All right. I think football is the king of all sports. So we'll start with football. Victor Osimhen's move from Lille, Lille in France to Napoli, one of the biggest moves of the transfer window thus far. Of course, I think it's been a good ride for Victor Osimhen, 16, 17 goals scored for Lille. And of course, Napoli came on their heels, and eventually it was able to be captured to the team. And irrespective of the COVID-19 and all of that, we knew what happened in Italy, the amount of deaths in Italy. But then again, it didn't actually store
The
the
move.
transfer. So much was anxiety whether the transfer will go through or not. Victor Osimhen changing his agent about his agent for a long while. But then again, I think it was talked about transfers because first time in a long while you saw an African player going to Napoli. Talk about this starting defender that used to be on the ranks. Talk about Koulibaly, but now we have Victor Osimhen, a proven goal poacher, both for club and country. He was successful with Nigeria. They found at 17. He was the highest goal scorer. Though his career had a few hiccups there and there, not having a good at Wolfsburg when he moved to Germany. A
Yeah.
lot of people thought his career was already on the low, or maybe he couldn't make it anymore. He was actually ablated by injury. But then again, he went to Charleroi in Belgium, where he had the renaissance of his career before eventually moving to LSD. And of course, now he's in Napoli. And I think it's a great one for Victor Moses. The first time in a long while you see Nigerian players having to move into top clubs. Talk about top clubs in Europe. Times past we have players like I kind of want to call playing for Inter Milan. We had Sunday Oliseh for Juventus. But now, new age of Nigerian footballers, Victor Osimhen. it's a good way to go. Yes, he scored a couple of goals for Napoli thus far, but then again, he's just new, and hopefully with time, he will keep banging the goals for the Serie A side.
Yeah, so I mean, his move to Napoli was quite. I mean, it was a big money move. He's basically the most expensive African player right there in Europe.
Yeah.
What does this say for Nigerian football? I mean, does it suggest that the country indeed still has the talent to export?
Yeah, Nigeria has got talent to explore. And one thing I want you to understand is the fact that Victor Osimhen was a product of more of an academy and not the Nigerian league. And I think we are still going to talk about the Nigerian league. Players that have actually sold for Nigeria don't accept, they are product of various academies. Talk about Wilfred indeed, doing wonders right now with Leicester City. Of course, he was a product of an academy. He never played in the Nigerian league. Kelechi Iheanacho as well. We have Samuel Chukwueze was also a product of the academy. So I think for me, the academy or the private academies in Nigeria are really, I think we still need to invest more in them because that's where they get players with major rudiments of football in which they tend to grow and advance. And I think the likes of Victor I beg your pardon, the striker, talking about Victor, is
Yeah,
Osimhen is
Osimhen, you mean?
of how developed I'll call it a youthful sector is about the academies, and I think it's a good one for him because if you look at this in Europe or say America, when you have likes of Neymar, being portrayed correctly academy, even when he's doing so, his academy gets caught financially. So I think it's a good one. It shows that our age group competition is not really at all. Nigeria has won the FIFA 17 times, 5 times in history. And if you're having players coming out from that sector and are doing well, it means that we are doing something right, which is development of football in the grassroots, starting the academies to reach the likes of Sime started.
Malay, again, we've had Nigeria dominate. I mean, grassroots football for some time now. I mean, we've seen the likes of Victor Osimhen coming in very, very well from the under 17 and going straight into the Super Eagles, but we've not been able to replicate that effort that's transferring the successes from the junior team to the senior
Yeah.
team. What could be the problem? What is the missing link? What is
I
happening?
think it's going to. I think it's going to take time. Let's not just forget. Ojeni Gale was the top-ranked man in the Super Eagles. He just retired from national team after Nigeria came to that last Nations Cup in Algeria. You remember, it's a good thing that Victor Osimhen is already in the team to blend because we can't just. There should be more like a face. All right, there should be a face. You don't just jump on under 17 to the national team. At least they still talks about him playing for the under 20 or under 23 national team, which is the Olympic team before he brings to the national team. But yes, he has been able to get a nod as regards of his progression. But it takes time, for him to at least get a nod because consistency is the name of the game. When you look at those that have played for the national team as core strikers, about the likes of Yakuba Ibini, Julius Agawa or Johnny Gallo, it took time for them to actually settle in and play over time because if players want to actually do well in terms of even breaking the record of the late Rashid Yakini, in which a lot of people
Yeah.
have tipped that Osimhen might actually meet that. He needs to take his time, work hard, of course, stay focused because aside from football, there's also the moral aspect of football. You being consistent because you didn't have the right character or right mental ability to compete at the highest level for a very, very long time. So I think for me, he needs to still go through the process. Yes, he's in the national team already, but then again, taking the spark and doing the needful will take time. But with focus, of course, much of his hard work and hopefully being injury free will be the next big thing when it comes to striking option in the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Yeah, hopefully. So while we are still discussing the Super Eagles, why don't we dwell on the coach? I mean, he's come under heavy criticisms, really. And I mean, if you look at the fact that the Super Eagles were not even able to win even a match in 2020, I mean, it sparked the number of calls for him to be sacked. And Amaju Penny came out to say that, oh, I mean, the federation, they believe him. I mean, he said this is the same coach that defeated Argentina, that drew to Brazil. I mean, but meanwhile, the Super Eagles has sort of lost a certain touch. I mean, you can attest to the fact that we were leading 4-0 against Sierra Leone, and the Sierra
Yeah,
Leoneans came on to draw that game. I mean, I was devastated. I couldn't believe it because, I mean, it was weird, really. And how is Rao doing with the team? He was appointed in 2016. We haven't seen any major success since he was appointed. I mean, his highest was qualifying for the World Cup in 2018,
ahead of time.
and
Yeah.
well ahead of time, and finishing third at the Nations Cup. But since then, it's been stories upon stories. What do you think of Jonas Ra as
Yeah.
Super Eagles
I
boss?
think I think for the Super League, I think for the Super League of Nigeria under Benadryl, a lot of people still think the man is not the best enough for the Super League of Nigeria. But then again, he says something and he might be right, but then again, well, it's not right. He says for every contract given to him by the Nigerian Football Federation, like Graham he has always met up with the target. To be maybe himself really reaching the finals of the Nations Cup, qualifying for the World Cup, getting to the second round of the World Cup. Those might be the contradictors. And he says, by heavy means and by heavy agitation of his contract, he has always fulfilled his contract obligation. So, but again, for Nigerians, we want more. We want to win the Nations Cup for the first time in our history. We want to at least get to the quarterfinals because look at the last time Nigeria went as far as the second round of the FIFA World Cup. It was done by a local coach of blessed memory, Stephen Kesh. Nigeria got to
Yeah,
the round of 16 of the World Cup, where I think that was in 2016. And
yeah,
when we lost to, when we lost to, yeah, that was 2014 when we lost to France in the knockout round. So you begin to wonder that the yardstick that has been read to him is the fact that a local coach has done it before, the person of Stephen Kesh, but he's not been doing so well, really, in terms of uh, Nigeria winning a major lawyer on that. Finally qualified Nigeria for the World Cup with the game to spare. And most of all of our qualification games, even for the Nations Cup, he has actually also done well in terms of qualifying us ahead. But Nigerians, as Oliver Twist, they want more. And they wanting more means that they have to actually get to do the right way.